Hey friends, I've got some signs here that I want to show you. Let's look at this one first. What does this say? It says danger, hot, do not touch. Do you think that you'd want to touch whatever is near that sign? No way. It tells you that you could get burned. Let's look at this sign. This one says that only people who are trained to use equipment should be the ones using it. This would keep someone who doesn't know what they're doing from breaking something or hurting others. When we don't pay attention to warning labels, we can put ourselves in extreme danger. That's why companies put warning labels on products. They know that you could hurt yourself if you aren't using things safely. Warning labels can help us think about our lives and the sin in our hearts. God created us to glorify Him. That's our main purpose. Sin twists our thoughts so that we focus on ourselves and we trust in our own understanding more than we trust in God. Let's read our Bible story today. It comes from Genesis chapter 10 and 11. Genesis is in the Old Testament. It's the first book of the Bible. After the great flood, God told Noah and his sons to grow their families and fill the earth. As their families grew and people started to travel through the land, at this time everyone in the world spoke the same language. One day, the people traveled through a valley. They liked it there and they decided to stay. We don't want to be scattered all over the earth, they said. Let's build a city and a tower so big that it touches the sky. This tower will make us famous. The people made bricks out of clay and baked them in the fire to make stones. Then they used the stones to start building the tower. They wanted glory for themselves instead of God. But God is greater than anyone. God created people to give glory to Him alone. God came down to look at the tower. God said, if they're doing this, they will keep thinking up more wrong things to do. So God mixed up the people's words. Instead of everyone speaking the same language, suddenly everyone spoke different languages. When people tried to make plans, they could not understand what other people were saying. If one workman said, hand me another brick, nobody else knew what he wanted. The people had to stop building the city. Families had to move away from each other to live with people they could understand. God made it so that people did just what He'd told them to do after the flood. They were scattered all over the world. The city with the unfinished tower was called Babel. So in our Bible story today, the people directly disobeyed God's command to multiply and spread out across the world. Instead, the people decided that they would be better off glorifying themselves by building a tall tower. Rather than doing what God designed them to do, they decided to do things their own way for their own glory. This kind of rebellion against God is exactly the sort of wickedness that grew out of control until God sent the flood. People were choosing to ignore God and make sinful choices all over again. So God changed their language and made it impossible for them to complete their project. Almost like the warning labels we looked at, God was nudging the people in the direction of obeying Him because He knew that their disobedience was going to end badly for everyone. We'll see you next week, guys.
See you next time on the amazing adventures